On the edge of a rugged cliff, overlooking the endless expanse of the ocean, stood an old lighthouse. Its beam of light had guided sailors through storms and fog for over a century. But the lighthouse was more than just a beacon of hope for lost ships. It held a secret, one that only the keeper of the light knew. The lighthouse keeper, an elderly man named Samuel, had lived there alone for as long as anyone could remember. He was a quiet man, with a face weathered by the sea and eyes that seemed to hold the weight of countless stories. The townsfolk often wondered why Samuel never left the lighthouse. Some said he was cursed. Others believed he was guarding something precious. One stormy night, a young woman named Clara arrived in the small coastal town. She was a journalist, searching for inspiration for her next story. When she heard the rumors about the mysterious lighthouse keeper, she knew she had found her subject. Determined to uncover the truth, Clara made her way to the lighthouse, braving the howling wind and crashing waves. When she knocked on the heavy wooden door, Samuel opened it just a crack, his eyes narrowing as he studied her. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice gruff. "I'm Clara," she said, holding up her notebook. "I'm writing a story about this lighthouse. I was hoping you could tell me its history." Samuel hesitated, then sighed. "Come in," he said, stepping aside, "but don't expect much. The lighthouse is just a lighthouse." As Clara stepped inside, she was struck by the warmth of the small living space. A fire crackled in the hearth, and the walls were lined with books and maps. But what caught her attention most was a strange, glowing object on the mantelpiece. It was a small, crystal-like orb, pulsing with a soft, golden light. "What is that?" Clara asked, unable to take her eyes off it. Samuel's expression darkened. "That," he said, "is none of your concern." But Clara's curiosity only grew. Over the next few days, she visited the lighthouse every evening, slowly earning Samuel's trust. She learned about his life, his love for the sea, and the countless lives he had saved. But whenever she asked about the orb, Samuel would change the subject. One night, as the storm raged outside, Clara decided to confront him. "Samuel," she said, "I know you're hiding something. That orb, it's not ordinary, is it?" Samuel stared into the fire for a long time before finally speaking. "No," he admitted, "it's not." He told her the story of how, decades ago, he had been a young sailor caught in a terrible storm. His ship had been on the verge of sinking when a strange light appeared in the distance. It led him to safety, and when he reached the shore, he found the orb lying on the sand. From that day on, he had devoted his life to the lighthouse, using the orb's power to guide lost souls home. "But there's a price," Samuel said, his voice trembling. "The orb feeds on memories. Every time I use it, I lose a piece of my past. That's why I can't leave. If I do, the light will go out, and the ships will be lost." Clara was stunned. She had come looking for a story, but she had found something far greater, a man who had sacrificed everything to help others. As she left the lighthouse that night, she knew she had to share Samuel's story with the world. The next morning, Clara returned to the lighthouse, but Samuel was gone. The orb was still there, its light flickering weakly. On the table was a note, written in Samuel's shaky handwriting.